one Framewalk input, you have to be able to tap up on the analog stick, and on the next frame, immediately let it fall back into its neutral resting position and repeat within a very small window. This is very difficult to do with an analog stick, but extremely easy to do with a button that is mapped to analog up. Now, do we sweep it under the rug, or should the Super Mario 64 community have a discussion and perhaps a vote on what should be done? Stated a Speedrun.com thread, as well as a Discord channel in the main SM64 Discord, were opened up for discussion on the issue. Trying to figure out the best way to hold the vote was the next step. The way voting was done was not simply a yes, remapping should be banned, or no, it shouldn't. With all that said, these were the possible votes. Option 1, allow the use of analog stick to button remap functionality. Option 2, force consistent mapping. And Option 3, ban the use of mapping analog stick ranges to buttons altogether. On September 5th, 2019, Hori announced that the votes are in and that Option 2 won. Here were the actual results.
Almost over 2 years ago, I made my Framewalk video, which was mostly fueled by a passion for keeping the game how I felt it should be kept, not allowing people to do a remapping, analog to digital. Obviously, that was what I was pushing for. The main way to do the Framewalk and the way that people were doing this old Framewalk was using a remapping, which was not cool, I think, but that's beyond the point. It's in the past, but it did end up getting banned. You are not allowed to remap an analog to a digital signal. It's not allowed. Framewalking is much more difficult, so ever since then, the Framewalk has been mostly unused. Players like Rock Chalk and Dowski did this Framewalk in runs with any semblance of consistency. Mostly, it's really hard to hit a whole bunch of Framewalks in a row. You have a 7-frame window to completely do the stick and then let it go back to neutral. Repeating that over and over and over again is pretty hard to do consistently. And there's a few players in the community who do a variation of getting the star without the cannon, and that's using the ship. Players like Cheese and Tago do this in runs. It does kill some of their runs, but it does save some time. So, looking at the raw time saves for these strats, just doing it with the cannon, around a 21-second time total. Takes about 10 seconds for the pink bomb dialogue to finish and the cannon opening and all that. The next faster strat is what Cheese and Tago do, which is long jumping off of the ship. And you usually end up with around 18 on a good one with those, so it saves around 3 to 4 seconds. The old Framewalk method that we only really see Rock Chalk do and Dowski did is around a 15, but probably averages on being around a 16 or 17 second star, which is another 2 seconds saved off of Cheese and Tago strat, and ultimately saving around 4 to 5 off of using the cannon. And there's nothing faster than the old Framewalk. A lot of people are unable to do the Framewalk. It's just inconsistent. I've tried it, I've practiced it, it hurts my hand, it makes me cramp up. I slap this stick around. You may be wondering about this controller. This is a whole different debacle, but the advantage of this controller, which is a perfectly legal controller, runners typically use this controller for spins, just because it's an easier style stick to spin. GameCube controller style stick on a Hori mini pad is just a W. It's a good stick. It's also very good at snapping all the way to one edge and then back to neutral, which is perfect for frame walking. Despite being able to save a fair amount of time, most runners, including myself, don't want to deal with the bullshit, okay? It's kind of annoying to reset on these strats. I haven't really messed with the long jump off of the ship. That does work for Cheese, but there is annoying parts to it. It does work for Tago as well. But most runners, including myself, have continued to play it safe. We just use the cannon in Jolly Roger Bay, and we just deal with it. Until recently. There is a new Framewalk. November of 2019, CircumArk, who, if you don't know who that is, he's basically our dad. He's basically daddy for the Mario community, has come up with a ton of strats, a ton of ideas that runners have continued to implement into their runs to save time. CircumArk had this idea of using the other pillar and doing a wall kick ledge grab. However, it did not seem to be super reliable. Kind of a cool idea, which a lot of CircumArk's ideas are cool, but they also tend to be pretty difficult or just not very replicatable. That's a very important thing in speedrunning. You gotta be able to do it consistently. So it kind of laid dormant for a while. until this video was posted July 21st, 2021, almost 2 years later. Saksdal found a pretty reliable setup in which you do a few frame walks after riding up the pillar. Not too many, you know, compared to the old frame walk. And after doing these frame walks, you turn around, do a little booty slide, holding the down left notch, and then right as you jump, switch into the upright notch, barely catching the ledge. And so I began practicing, I began grinding this because it's one thing to be able to do it once. You know, it obviously looks very good, but how realistic is it? How hard is it? Instead of using the pillar to the right, by going up the pillar to the left and doing only a few frame walks and then sliding, wall kicking, and ledge grabbing this platform, Mario can make it to the star. Not only is it faster, it requires less frame walks, and it's all around more consistent. However, it is very difficult, and this has been my experience with the trick. I've probably put 5 to 10 hours of practice into the trick. With the old frame walk, I probably only put maybe a couple hours, 3-4 hours, mostly just because it hurt my hand. But this is a trick that I can repeatedly do. It doesn't tense up my hand as much because I don't have to do as many frame walks. And I, at least currently, think that it is viable. I think that this is a strat that runners are going to pick up. I think it's very exciting. It saves a lot of time around, for me, it's going to be saving around 6-7 seconds most of the time, which is gigantic for 120 star. I have been doing 120 runs recently, but I'll talk about that more later. There's been so many different ideas, so many strats over the years for this star, and I think that this is the one that will stick. It feels very difficult. It is hard. I have missed it. I've been trying it in runs. I miss it sometimes, but I've also hit it other times. All right, here we go. Let's fucking go. An important thing for me is that a trick is fun, and it's super fun to practice, super fun to do, and honestly, I think we just need a round of applause for Saksdal for revisiting this, because I don't know if anyone else really would have. But obviously the difficulty is the angle. You know, how lenient is the strat? In my opinion, it's pretty lenient. However, it is still difficult and the timing is still pretty tough, but it's a strat that I am going to continue doing, and I think that other runners over time will pick it up. So as of now, I got high hopes for this strategy. I believe it'll be picked up by top runners over time, and whether or not that'll be the case, only time will tell. Sometimes there's strats that runners pick up that we're like in love with. We're like, oh yeah, this. I don't know why I'm talking about it like it's a girl, but it just makes it easier for me to visualize things. But you kind of have a honeymoon phase. You fall in love with a strat. You think, oh, this is so good. You start doing it in runs. You kind of realize maybe this isn't good enough, or maybe no matter how much I practice it, it just doesn't seem realistic. And that's kind of just something that time will tell. Not only is it important to have the runners test stuff and try it out to push the game and see how far it can go, but without players like Saksdal and people like Circumark, the game would have been dead long ago. So can we just get some claps? Can we get the audience roaring for these people who really, they don't get that much credit. They don't really benefit too much out of it other than just for the pure love of the game, just to see it get pushed harder. Without these people, we would just be stuck in our own strats doing the same things, and the game would have died probably a long time ago. Just wanted to have a little wholesome moment. That look like a heart. If you want to watch the history unfold live, Mario 64 120 star speedruns are possibly the most active they've been in a long time. I do believe we are going to be witnessing another golden era of Mario 64. A lot of runners are playing. Top 120 star runners are active, such as Liam, Puncayshun, Cheese, Paracusia, and more. If I forgot your name or if I left someone out, I'm sorry. Myself included, I have been doing 120 runs. I have been streaming them. I've been getting some good runs. It's been fun. So if you aren't following the Twitch, stop by sometime. I could be streaming right now, maybe. Who knows? Twitch.tv/simply. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say on this strat. I hope you found this kind of interesting. I fucking love this game. The community is great, and I'm looking forward to seeing what other new stuff we can find and push the limits on. Thank you for watching. I hope that you have a good day and stuff. Okay, bye.